Hello everyone and welcome to this Marble Madness tutorial. In this video I'll show you all of the strategies used in the current world record of 1 minute and 47 seconds. And the first thing you need to know is what platform to run the game on. So if you're using emulator, you want to use either BGB or Gameboy. If you're on console, your best options are the Super Game Boy 2 for SNES and the Game Boy interface for GameCube. You can also just run on a regular Game Boy. But I'll put a link in the video description to a full article telling you in more detail what the best ways are to run Game Boy games. Now onto the timing. The run starts on the first frame that the marble and level are visible, which is this frame. So that's where timing starts, but that's a bit difficult to start your splits the moment that happens. So what you can do instead is use a negative timer of 0.36 seconds from selecting your control type. So from pressing start to when the marble appears is 0.36 seconds, and you can put that in your timer. Now timing ends in this game at the end of Silly Race because there's no ultimate race. So the timing will end when your score jumps up from crossing the goalpost. It should be a big jump. Here I've got 36,000. Then I've got 44,000. So that's the frame that timing ends on this run. And then this version of the game actually loops back around to beginner and we'll keep cycling through. So it's more of a high score game, but we end the timing at silly because there are no new levels. Now the physics of this game. There is a turbo boost button. So here is me rolling around without holding A. Quite slow. Here is me rolling around with A. Much faster. Now there's some problems with using the turbo boost button. It's very hard to control. The respawns you get in the game are generally quite far away from where you died, so the expectation is if you die here, you should respawn next to where you died. But by going too fast, you'll actually get put much further back in the level because it didn't register where you got up to. And one more thing is that sometimes your marble gets warped or displaced slightly to the left or right of where it is, and that can result in you being warped off the edge. So there are some times in this game where I'm trying to stick as close to the middle of the platforms as possible because I know that it's likely to warp me from that platform. So the first race is practice. There is a skip here, it's the rail jump. So basically what you want to do for this is have enough speed to jump through this rail, you clip through, and then you need to get through those two pistons. So here is hopefully a demonstration of what that looks like. So the way I do it is move slightly to the right to line it up, aim for slightly to the right of the middle of the rail, and then just do adjustments on the fly to line it up between the pistons. And then here it's much faster to try and clip those corners than to not do that. Now onto the beginner race. At the start of this level there is a black marble called Steely, and it's in your way, very difficult to get around. So what we do is actually kill this Steely, and of course it may seem that it's faster to try and get around the Steely and not waste time killing it, but actually you get quite a bit of lag, at least a second of lag by doing that. So the way I kill this Steely is to navigate around here, try and bounce off that wall, and then ram into the Steely with as much speed as I can. See if I can demonstrate that. So like that. That's a slow kill because I got stunned and thrown backwards. A quick kill is when that stun doesn't happen, like that. So the next thing to know about the physics of this game is that you can jump any two-tile gap if you have enough speed. So here we actually have two two-tile gaps to jump to avoid using the drawbridge. And what we do to do that is line up on this line, move towards it with speed, and then as soon as I land on that platform I start holding right. And that may seem counterintuitive because it's away from where we want to go. But what that does is allow you to spend more time on the platform, so you sort of arc around and then you have enough speed to make the second jump. So So here is a demonstration of that, and you can also look at my input display to see what I'm doing here. So I'm holding right and then I'm immediately holding down. This one you just hold down and left and you'll always get it. And on the ice, unlike in other games, you actually have full control of the marble. So you can just take whichever path you really want. I try and avoid going into the dip because it spends a bit more time to travel through it. But whichever way you feel comfortable with, and then you can go for a faster strategy later on. So onto the intermediate level. There is a bit of a skip right at the start of this level. You want to get onto that platform. So this is the casual way to do it. Come in here, bounce around, bounce, 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 try and get down here. Not very good. What you can do instead is start the level by holding down and right, and then almost immediately switch to holding just right. And if you do that, you'll find that just about every time, unless you leave it too late to switch to right, you will get onto this platform. And then once you get there, of course, start holding down. Here, cancel speed and then go down the ramp. It's a bit tricky to get this right, but it's still faster than bouncing around inside. Now on this platform in particular, you often get warped down, so I try and stay as close to the middle as I can there. Oops, I fell in a bit early there, that's not great. So stay in the middle, and then we get to the acid slimes. So the cluster pattern is what you just saw, and that is the pattern that you get if you match the world record roughly up to this point. If you don't, then you'll probably get a pattern where there's a slime about where my marble is now, and you have to duck under that one and then start going around to get over another one. That pattern's also fairly straightforward. If you're not comfortable, then just come here, stop, look for a gap, and then get through the gap. That's my recommendation, but I'll show you what this particular pattern looks like. You just duck underneath and go in the pipe, and then we're up to the wave section. So here there's a jump over that gap, but it's not straightforward. So if you get hit by the wave when you're doing the jump, and I'll delay a bit here to demonstrate that, then you get pushed back over and you didn't save any time. And in most cases you'll die. Dying takes a long time in this game. So really, priority number one is to not die. For me, I find that if my pipe entry is 85, a high 85 or higher, then I'm fine. But obviously, varying on how you beat practice beginner, you're going to get different times on the clock. So it's really up to you to try and work out a way to consistently get a good wave pattern. But here that's an 86 pipe, so I'm good to get the good pattern, make that jump, and I don't get pushed by the wave. And then navigate to the end of the level. Oh, I should also mention that you are likely to get warped on that wave platform as well. So stay as far into the platform as possible before you arc around to exit it. Now aerial. This is where all the fun is. There's a skip in this level where you can skip the catapult, but we're not there yet. First of all, let's talk about how you might do this more casually. The vacuums are easy to get past if you're moving at a high speed. And then you get on this catapult. You have two choices. You can go to the pistons or you can go the long path to the right. Pistons in this game are notorious. They're incredibly difficult to get past. They bounce you around, they push you up, and it's generally a bad time. So I would say even if you're not doing the aerial skip, it's probably a good idea to not go for the pistons either. So what else can you do? Oops. You can take the catapult and then go straight to the long path. That's another option that you have. So let's do that now. Catapult. And then sometimes you can jump across to the long path. Doesn't work every time. Let's see if I can get that from a save state. Yeah, and then do the long path. So that was pretty quick. You can jump across that gap sometimes. And there's a demonstration of it warping me quite far back in the level. Let's see if we can get this one. Good. And then here's where I let go of the speed button just to control it around there. And do one more jump to get to the end of the level. Now there is a much more complicated strategy that's used in the world record. And the way you do that is line up to the middle of this platform. Obviously I slowed down so the vacuum got me. And then right about here is when I start holding right. And what I want to do is get stunned. So I'll show this in action. So come around here, line up roughly with the middle, start holding right. Stunned, cross over the catapult, and then down the long path. So I'll show that one more time. The difficulty is in keeping your stun, so you need to be quick to get to the catapult before the stun runs out. There I didn't even get stunned. And then you need to cancel as much speed as you can once you're on the other side of the catapult so that you don't fly away. So I get stunned, go through the catapult, and there didn't quite work out, but I got a good spawn for it, so I can try again. And then again, let go of the speed button. You don't have to let go, that's just what I prefer there. And get to the end of the race. There's no hammers in this version, so you don't have to worry about those knocking you off there. Okay, and on to the last level of this game, which is Silly. You can have a look at what I do for the ramps with my input display here. Now, it's very important that you line this pipe up exactly in the middle, otherwise you'll get bounced around. See, this hasn't triggered it, now it's triggered. And then you just come through here as fast as you dare. Now here's one more skip. I need to get across this gap because it saves going around this whole path. So I'll get a save state from the pipe here. The way that I do that is to go as close to the edge as I can. Also don't have any upward momentum when you enter that ramp. And then sort of swing around into that. So I'm sort of on the edge, swing around, start holding up, and then hold left to do that silly skip. So I'll try to do that one more time. Swing around, hold up, and then hold left. And then you're at the end of Silly. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial and learned a thing or two about the game. I would like to see more runners of it because it's one of the more broken versions of Marble Madness, and it's quite a fun run to do once you can find a way to tame the glitchiness and inconsistencies in the game, such as the warping. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.